Yes.
All righty, great, great, great. So, chalo, no further delays. So, good evening, everyone. This is Vijeta here. We are in episode 15 of the League of Extraordinary Startups. Definitely looking forward to this very interesting conversation with a very dynamic but very focused and nice gentleman, Ramesh, from the startup that I should also say that he's part of the Thai Bangalore chapter. And now, Ramesh, I want you to talk about your startup, okay? And I want to also understand the name, okay? What is his name all about? Like Lambada Block.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with that. That makes it very interesting conversation startup.
Sure. So thank you for the opportunity, Vijita, and thank you for Thai Bangalore. And I'm very happy and proud to be associated with Thai since 2008, since my aspiration is always to take the startup and take it forward. So why Lambda Blocks? Interesting question. Because see, one is we come from the technology background. So how we can take the technology as well as taking the emerging technologies like a blockchain and the AI, ML, etc. So that's where we thought associating the Lambda and the blocks, like put together, like let's form like a lambdablocks.com. And also getting the domain name is not a easy thing these days, and it was a challenge by itself. So that's where these two things we joined together to take it as a Lambda blocks. And just to tell, as a co-founder of Lambda Blocks, at Lambda Blocks, we wanted to solve the trust and transparency issues in the supply chain by leveraging the blockchain and AI technology.
Okay, interesting, very interesting. So, and the journey has been good. 2008, that means it's been like what, almost 12 years of entrepreneurship, fighting all the challenges, etc., Ramesh, isn't it?
Yes, Vijita. So again, to give a little brief about myself. So I come with an almost 19 years of IT experience, and I just wanted to say goodbye to the IT world. And whatever the knowledge I gained, I wanted to be on that and take it forward. So that was my aspiration. And since my association with Thai Bangalore 2008, I have been always observing, and it has benefited me a lot in terms of networking, and also a lot of learnings have happened, like even most of the workshop which was very critical as a technology background, we have been lacking in many of the business side and also from the startup point actually. So these are all some of the learnings, the good things which I've learned from Thai Bangalore. Still, I remember maybe 2009 or something, the business model canvas. So that was really a very big. I found it as a very big thing, and it was a very easy and simple to put my thought into the business model canvas. And still, I remember those days. Like
Interesting, very interesting. And I guess, Ramesh, the learning should never stop, right? You've been, I know that, in the last few years, so many workshops you've had, you've pitched so many places, you have come and demonstrated on, so many of our webinars and sessions. And it's a very crazy thing. I mean, even the Jagat, who's part of on the platform that we're using, he's someone that
mhm.
has for a few years. So the startup founder journey and the hustle of bringing in more customers should never ever stop, isn't it, Ramesh?
Yeah, that's true. Again, I always believe in learning should be a continuous and it should be your part of your journey. So just to give a little about, like, after completing my graduation in bachelor in electronic science in 2000, just I wanted to move out of my house and be independent on my own. So that's where I got my job, my first job in Sharp Electronics, and then it's more of an software R&D center in Bangalore. So from that time, I have been on my own, like completed my MS in IT as well as postgraduate in management in Symbiosis, and recently in Great Lakes. So especially in the analytics side. So I feel it should be your continuous journey. The learning should be part of you. And during that journey, the lot of network which I have been taken, and they have been helpful to me till now in terms of my startup, how I can reach out to certain connects which is very important, and from their side as well, so they give that connect to me to take it forward. So that's something, a good thing which like it's a good thing I can say. Yeah.
Great. Ramesh, I would love you to just get your
Mhm.
slides ready. And, because
Oh,
blockchain
sure.
is something, it keeps getting talked about,
Mhm.
but you're someone who's actually saying that these are enterprise solutions that you have for the pharma and manufacturing industry. Okay. So, while you present, also just talk us through, right? No, I mean, so while blockchain as a technology sometimes sounds very exotic, but you have something that is actually ready, right? It's not just an emerging technology or a fancy term,
Sure.
but something that you're implementing. So, can you just give us a crisp oversight as to how exactly are you cracking this for enterprises?
Definitely, Vijita. So I will just go ahead and share my screen
Please do
and
that.
walk you through the presentation. So I'll take it little brief so that like from understanding point, it will be easy as well. Yeah, I hope
Yes,
you
yes.
can see my screen.
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. You
Yeah.
can start from the beginning and relevant slides you can show. So we keep it crisp. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sure. So as I said, the Lambda block. So in the year 2018, in the late 2018, so I was taking my particular like want to see like how blockchain can be enabled or helpful from the startup point, because the emerging solution I always feel it's a big boom for the startup for people who have an entrepreneurial skill. So especially the AI technology, blockchain, etc. So I just wanted to see like how the blockchain can be taken and as a startup point actually. So that was the main thing. So I was part of advanced blockchain course from Triple IT Hyderabad. So that's where I met my co-founder, Mr. Nagesh. So who comes from a very technology oriented, and he is an architect in the past, like built many product and solution in the supply chain, etc. So that's where we met. And then in the Triple IT, there have been a lot of support as an alumni as well. And that's where we took cases from fintech to so many things. And based on our experience and also the prospect, like in terms of opportunity, like there is a huge in terms of the business can be achieved through blockchain and the supply chain. So that's where we wanted our use case very particularly how we can take it for the supply chain side. So that's where myself and Nagesh got into this particular use case, and we wanted to take it. So in the early 2019, we started developing our own POC and an MVP, very particularly focused on pharma
Okay.
and OEM. So where there are a lot of trust and transparency issues in the supply chain. So that's where, yeah.
Trust
So
and
that,
transparency, that's the key, isn't it? So can you
yes, yes.
go, just go a little bit forward, Ramesh, just show us exactly what your solutions are and what does it solve in terms of.
Sure. Sure. So this is about our team. Just to quickly, like as I mentioned about my background, just to tell a little bit about Nagesh. So Nagesh comes from an architect level. So he comes from a background of an enterprise architect. So that's where we both developed this POC and taken. So currently we are like a 8-member team, and also our mentor, Mr. Surya Narayanan, who is also a Thai charter member. He is a phenomenal in terms of helping us whenever we are in need of encouragement, motivation, and also to reaching to certain prospect, as well as to connecting with industrial expert as well. So coming to the industrial challenges, so if you take one of the main industrial challenges, like nearly 25 to 30% of the products are spurious, especially in almost all vertical like pharma, medical device, auto spare, FMCG, etc. So that's where very particularly we wanted to focus how we can address this challenge. So if you take this particular challenge, the genuinity, how the genuine product can reach the end customer. So the main thing is the supply chain integrity is not there. So even in advanced countries like US, even though the supply chain integrity is there, but still the last mile is not, somehow it's not connected. So that's where how we can enable the blockchain to take this so that the entire provenance data is validated and authenticated from the end user point, and then they can see how genuine the product is. And also if you see from the traceability point, everyone, whether you are a organic product buyer or even any pharma drug or a medicine, everyone wants to know from where it is coming, even from the retail point, like where the particular brand is coming from. So that's where the entire traceability of a provenance data comes important, and also that can help to ensure whether the product is genuine or not. So that's where we come in to address this particular challenge.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Will you just move ahead? What's the next one
Yeah.
that you want to talk? Your offerings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, coming to the solution point, like offering, as I mentioned, the supply chain integrity is the key actually, how we connect the entire supply chain. So that is where we wanted to ensure the network, the entire distribution channel, the supplier channel is protected, and then the genuine authentication can be taken so that the product reaches the end user, so that the OEM or the pharma producer can maximize their revenue and sales by preventing the spurious or a fake products. Collaboration and engagement. So even from the supply chain point, even the collaboration and engagement will be much effective. Like when you bring a supplier, there are a lot of transaction happening between the supplier and then the even the distribution channel. Whether entire transaction is being tracked and monitored is still a question. So how the solution, our solution can go as a consortium model, or it can be on a private from the OEM or a manufacturer level, and it can connect all the parties and ensure there is a better collaboration and engagement. So trusted and valid data. So the same solution can be taken in any technology as well, but how do you trust the data? What is the security guarantee of the data? So if just to give one of the scenario, so there is a audit report done by an external agent for a very particular CSERT manufacturer, so who manufacture a neonatal product. So how those audit reports are validated and authenticated 100% it is true. So that is where blockchain also can stand and fit over there. So enabling the complete traceability of products in the supply chain and ensure trust and transparency by engaging and collaborating with all parties. So this is our main from the solution point. Yeah. So coming to the entire the solution, what we have implemented for a particular Asia's large medical equipment manufacturing company. So I will just give that scenario and a case study. Like if you have seen this particular diagram, like main thing is streamlining the internal process, collaboration in the distribution channel, and engaging the customer, the last mile. So when I say streamlining the internal process, so there are various department in the particular manufacturing company, the dental manufacturing company. So the coordination between the R&D team, production team, and assembly team and sales team, it has never been been integrated actually. So they had a system, a legacy system, which was not efficient to connect between multiple branches across across Bangalore or across India. So that's where the SaaS-based model. So where we bought in, and then R&D team also, if you take each and every part which is being associated with a child-parent relationship, the QR code have been tagged, engraved on the components, wherever on the core components, and then it is taken so that in a return process or even on the traceability, like it can be traced back what product have been given to that particular customer. At any given point, they can give the right match of that particular component or spare part itself. So that is one. And then each and every team in the department, now they know that once the task have been completed from R&D or a production team, they know what is lying on their plate for the day, and then they can take it and go and complete it. And then the logistics, shipping, and the distribution and the retail team. So here they had this client had one main pain area. So the sales happen in a direct versus indirect sales. So if you take a direct sale, it happens directly from their head office. So there is no issue. When it comes to indirect sales, where the multiple distributor across India, so there is no synergy. Like in case of giving the entire customer detail back to the OEM or the manufacturer. So that's where our solution also comes in. So whatever the product being sold from the distributor point, now they can trace back who's the customer, what was the product history, entire thing. So this also helps them in providing a better services, the after services as well. So that's one of the key thing. And then engaging the customer in terms like being a medical equipment product, a lot of product comes from China and other countries. How doctors can ensure that is a valid, genuine product coming from the manufacturer. And also they can at click of the QR code, which have been engraved on the product, the main parent product, they can at any given point, the installation guy or a service guy will come to know the entire customer detail. That will help them to reduce the lead time in terms of giving a support on a priority basis, and it can be taken. So again, if you take in the bottom line where the blockchain comes into picture, so we have considered and we have taken where there are multiple parties involved, especially on the collaboration where the distribution channel comes in, so that those data can be fed, and also when the distribution channel access and the data comes from their side, everything can be taken, trusted, and then the security is also taken care. So that's the main part. And then streamline. So as I said, the key benefit, the streamline and collaboration, brand protection, digitalization of the entire distribution channel.
Okay, excellent, Ramesh.
Yeah. So coming to why blockchain. So this is one of the question, why the blockchain and why it has to be used. So just to give an overview on that, like it's a decentralized peer-to-peer network, so that it's not like in a centralized one. So, and then as I mentioned, private or in a consortium model. So it can be taken as a consortium where multiple supplier or a distribution channel can also be aligned with the multiple OEMs or a manufacturer as well, or a particular OEM wants to have only their chain, whoever the supplier and distributor, that also can be taken care. So next one is a single source of truth, the distributed ledger itself from the blockchain part, and data is immutable, no tampering. As I mentioned, the audit report as an example where the data can be trusted, whether it is genuine or not. The real-time data sharing, no reconciliation is needed, easier and reliability in data tracing, and data is cryptographically stored. So from the security point, it's all cryptographically stored. So that's the main advantage of the having a blockchain. Yeah. So coming to the market, so again, to just give a touch base on that, apart from the key challenges from the genuinity point. So in India itself, there is a huge loss happening in terms of ASPA data. It says that 1 lakh crore loss annually due to counterfeit. It happens in India. And one of the report very specifically to the auto industry, if you take, 20% of the accident happens because of the counterfeit product. So that gives an alarming thing where the integrity, supply chain integrity is a must to ensure that we prevent those spurious and counterfeit losses economically as well as from the human life part of a thing. So that's a key part. So that's the main thing here. Yeah. So moving to next slide. So from the competitor perspective, like in 2008, when we came up with our own POC, MVP, and solution, at the same time, like so even from US, there is a MediLedger, which is also working on a similar solution. And then Stop the Fake, Everledger is one of the forefront, I can say, like where they started in terms of how the diamond trade can be ensured it's a legitimate. When especially the Western market, they can see that the diamond what they buy is a legitimate, not a blood diamond or something. So how it is taken care legally. So that is where one interest where it comes, the entire value chain can be traced and ensured that it's a legitimate transaction itself. And Niti Aayog from India is also working on a similar project, what I can say. So from the differentiation point at present, what I can say from our side is, so we have not taken any of the private blockchain service provided by Oracle or Microsoft Azure. So we have built our own framework in a cloud, in a regular cloud, maybe AWS cloud, so that the cost can be reduced, so that it cannot be charged to a customer in a transactional basis, but it can be controlled and taken care. So that is one main thing. And also for authenticate, no need to have any mobile app or mobile application. A simple QR scanner in an mobile phone should be fair enough. And also we are also thinking like how there can be an external device put in places where the customer can authenticate due to the ambiguity issues with the smartphone and the QR code scanning, etc. So this again based on our discussion with one of the advisor and mentor. So which we wanted to take as an USP. Apart from that, we are also seeing like how AI can help in terms of predicting certain things, like where likely the more fake is going to happen, and then the having a the forecast, the demand versus supply, like which can help in terms of maximizing the the manufacturer's sales. Yeah, so moving to the current solution where we have implemented, like it's in, like we have implemented to streamlining their entire process, as I mentioned, and then maintains a product and a customer history and prevents a false claim. So one scenario which I like to share, like, so there are a lot of manufacturing companies, the warranty, if it is not clear, or when the product comes back in the return process, how do you ensure it is a genuine product which is coming from the client, which is not falsified maybe by mistake or anything? So there are scenarios where they have got an expensive core component being being a false claim or something. How that can be prevented? So again, the QR code, which has a parent-child relationship, that can ensure that entire network or a channel where the product have been the spare parts or components gone to a parent-child, and which distributor line entire can be traced back. And also any batteries, like just to share this, like nowadays a lot of EV, electric bike, electric batteries, etc. is going on, so they have a life expectancy. So same wise, like in neonatal medical device product also, there are certain product which is lead based and battery based, which needs to be recalled when the product shelf life is expired. So how that can be recalled at any given point? So those things are some of the pain points which we are addressing from the medical device point, I can say. And then the entire product lineage is taken to do the authentication from the end user point. Yeah, so coming to Lambda Blocks, mission and vision. So we just carefully thought, and we have put this. Mission is to work with our client to adopt disruptive and emerging technologies to improve their processes, thus adding value to their user. Vision is to enable our clients to have a competitive advantage in their industry by collaborating with the stakeholder effectively. Core values and principles at Lambda Blocks, like being passionate, honest, and committed. So currently, I am taking care of the operation side, and Nagesh is taking care of the technology part. And also, we are in terms of adding in one more founder who can bring in expertise in AI and data science. So who will be joining us soon.
Excellent, Ramesh. So how difficult is it to find customers? I also saw that you're in touch with many other customers. But how are you going about it? How are you approaching it? Very quickly, if you can encapsulate that, right? Customers, paying customers, how do you find them? How do they agree to you?
Yeah. So coming to B2B SaaS model, so finding a client is a challenge. It's a challenge which we are having in a big time. So again, with our help of our network, so we started approaching through our network, and also the first implementation, the word of reference, that is also very important. So we are working on that aspect, and also through our network channel, and also almost every day, like wherever we connect with our network, we take our presentation and solution. So the first inner circle with my friends, colleagues, and all my circle, I am doing it. So that alone is not important. Like you need to do like SEO is also very important in terms of how the solution can be taken. So we are also like working with one of our other friends, like how we can improve our SEO based on our first use case. And also me and Nagesh, very particularly, we come from a technology background. So we also wanted to see like how blogging and then those things can also be taken in Medium, etc. So these are all the things which we are currently focused in terms of taking it to the market. And in Jan 2020, we have been selected as part of iPreneur accelerator program. So that is also helping us to focus on how we can take our solution very specifically to the OEM side, manufacturing side. So we have been in discussion like how we can take our solution to some of the big OEMs.
So are you bootstrapped? Have you raised any funding as of now, Ramesh?
Currently, we are bootstrapped and bootstrapped. So we are looking for a funding. So we have been in discussion with some of our network, like how we can get funded. But again, from a funding perspective, is one the main my focus is like how we can add more clients. So where which I am looking into it, and especially the technology. If you see, like even. Like IBM and other players also like working on a similar solution, how there can be a complete supply chain integrity which can be taken to OEMs especially, so that multiple players can collaborate each other to make a value in the supply chain itself. So that's where I feel there is a huge potential in terms of like how we can focus on adding more clients on that.
Excellent, excellent, Ramesh. So, what are the challenges that you foresee for yourself over the next, say, 6 months? And you approach it, and how are you approaching these challenges?
Okay, so challenges is one, like getting a customer, that is one big challenge. So which we are addressing by like having our mentor who are very specifically expert in their domain. So we have taken our focus very particularly on two areas. One is pharma and the OEM side. So that's where our focus, so that we can build our expertise in that. When we take the solution also. So that's how we are taking this particular challenge, like how we can get more clients in this two particular domain or a vertical.
Okay, very interesting. So, it is not easy, but at the same time, you have a game plan. And are you looking at only India right now? Are you trying to, because your solution, is it easy for you to take on clients outside of India, or just you need to, because of the nature of your business and product, you have to focus
Yeah.
on India?
Yeah, see, I always believe like we should first take our solution to the local and then prove it, and then you can take it outside. But again, if you see from the technology and emerging point of view, there is a lot of inquiry and I can say like inquiry from outside also, like how the traceability can be taken from the blockchain point of view. Definitely, we are open to take that. So we are also currently in discussion with one of the team, the lead. So which we will be taking it. That's again a very interesting in terms of the project as well. So we are open for it, I can say. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. And also now, considering the way it
Mhm.
have changed in the current situation, right? But then I know that counterfeiting
Mhm.
big problem, and you definitely see that you can make an impact on this. But when you're talking about white papers or blogs or case
Mhm.
studies, etc., how do you prepare it? Because I mean, you also mentioned competition. So how do you differentiate yourself, Ramesh?
Yeah. Yeah. So again, if you take from a white paper perspective, so before taking the OEM to OEM, so we have prepared our own white paper, which have been reviewed and approved from the mentor's perspective as well. So that is one key thing. So again, from the competitor perspective, like we need to clearly define our USP, which is very important. The value proposition is the key actually. So we have defined our value proposition in terms of how a genuine can be taken to the end customer, and also when during the return there is no false claim, so that it gives maximizes the benefit to the OEM or the manufacturer. So that's a very important thing. So that's where we define, and still working on the value proposition, how we can add more value, because especially in B2B side, having a more value to the customer is very important, what I see.
Hmm, interesting. And so now, Ramesh, you are a team of two, of course, two co-founders, definitely, but you also have a team of 6, 7, 8 people. So, what were the challenges that you faced in the last 6 months? I mean, with all the lockdowns and slowdowns or whatever you want to call it, like
Mhm.
there would have been some aspects that it may not have been gone so well for you. So, how did you face up to that? How did you tackle that? And how are you, managing the situations?
Yeah. Yeah, so that was one of the difficult part, like in the last few months. So how we mitigated is, so we had a use case built around medical equipment manufacturing side, if you see, and also we have built a POC around pharma, like how our solution can be taken to pharma manufacturing side, but it was on a very high level. So during this lockdown time, so there was an advice and guidance from our mentors, like why don't we do a POC for OEM, like having a supplier and then the multiple distributors, and how that entire consortium model can be taken. So that we have invested our time and energy over there, and we developed a POC how it can benefit the OEMs actually. So now based on that, like if you see, like one of the key challenge from the OEM perspective is even though there are a lot of ERP solution and other thing, how our solution can sit and consume the ERP data, and it can be taken for the traceability. So we have done that POC, and also it can be taken to OEM to monitor their entire tools traceability, etc. So that's where we have been able to take that POC to this particular OEM who are very specifically in the automobile sector. So that's how we used it, and it was quite effective, and it was good actually, I can say, instead of looking for clients or something. So we made use on the developing the POC, Vijita.
Extremely interesting. So, as you say, Ramesh, that you feel that you're using a technology that is, though it's no longer emerging, blockchain has been around for a few years and
Yeah.
adoption is also improving, and you are working on getting more and more customers. So, considering the fact that whatever else is happening in India and globally, policy changes are
Mhm.
happening, different things are happening. So, as what would be your input for co-founders, in your area and beyond? What should they be start looking at? Like, how do they kind of study the landscape to grab business? I mean, ultimately, everything else is fine, but making money is a very critical thing. Being profitable is very important. So, what
Mhm.
ways that you're going about getting customers, some inputs, insights, challenges?
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. So what I can say in this is some of the key learning what I had in my journey is like one of the main thing is the market demand and scenario is very important. Even if you take our solution point, unless there is a need, no one is gonna come. Like when I say need, right, the authenticity or checking the authenticity, like even when there is a push from a regulation bodies like government and etc., that is also very important and very luckily, like government, Indian government also has come like by next year that entire supply chain integrity should happen to ensure the customer validates and authenticate the especially in the pharma side. So that is one where you need to see what is the market demand, how the market is going, and then clarity on value proposition. So even we add a value proposition during our starting only, but again, so many thoughts, suggestions, speaking to so many people, somewhere like I felt I lost clarity or a focus. So again, like fine tuning that value proposition and ensure each and every players in your solution from the solution point how they can benefit. So deriving that is one very important thing, because that is the one which will give you the business. That was one learning. And then also restrict yourself to few domains so that you can master it from your solution point also, like solution point, like very particularly so we have zeroed in on the OEM and the pharma side, just two. So there have been inquiry coming in other areas, like how we can see agro farm, like suppose a buyer want to see how legitimate the product, the agro product, what is buying from so and so producer. So again, we wanted to see at least our solution can fit in as a model, but we don't want to take it at this point, so that we can keep focusing on our main pharma and the OEM side. That is one key thing what I learned. And then networking is quite important, very important. It is not just for the connection. Even most often, just by seeing you in the Thai meetings before the lockdown, it gives a more satisfaction in terms of motivation and energy itself, by seeing like a co-startup. So that we are missing, I can say that. But still, online connecting through each and every webinar, it gives immense motivation for us, because we always being like whether like this won't work out or something like that, but it keeps us running and gives us a motivation, what I can say. And seeking mentor, advisor, and updating him on each and everything is also very important, because everyone is in a busy. Even my mentor is not just mentor for me; he is also mentoring other startup and everyone. So keeping him updated on him. So it's my priority. Our as a startup co-founder's priority to update him on each and everything, so that everyone is aligned and synced. So that is one. And then a good team mix is also very important. As a startup, we started myself and Nagesh as a two co-founder. Definitely three is a perfect match, and we wanted to bring in, especially from our startup, we have identified a person where she is more from data science, and she can bring in more value to us. So we are seeing that.
Ramesh, I mean, thanks to all these useful video conferencing tools, and Jagat, who himself, by the way, is a founder who has to hustle and get customers. And he's someone that I know from a NASCOM days. And we said like, okay, let's bring really good quality founders who can talk about it. And Ramesh, just to let you know, you're right. This physical networking that we used to do in office, in co-working spaces, all these sessions that we're doing, we are doing it virtually also now, and we are trying to see what we can do more. We are going to figure out something for people like you who are founders looking for more customers. And I mean, look, this is an opportunity for you, right? This is being recorded. This is going to be shared out on YouTube, etc., etc. And we'll do this virtual networking. We'll do more of this virtual networking. And also, Ramesh, I want you to wear the hat of a knowledge giver also. I've been talking to Jagat, right, that we should also create this simple 15, 20-minute modules where you talk about blockchain, you talk about solutions, you talk about problem solving. Not just as a founder, but as someone who understands these things for so many years of experience from a customer point of view also, not just from a founder point of view. Okay. So I'm just doing one thing, Ramesh. I mean, and first of all, thank you so much for all these fantastic and in-depth insights you're giving. I'm just taking Jagat on call.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can just have a. Hey, Jagat, how are you?
Hi, Vijeta.
All.
Doing fine.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ramesh. Very nice to have you here.
Hi, Jagat.
Nice, bright Saturday shirt.
Absolutely. Always.
Good one, good one. We're
You
all.
too.
Yeah. Dress up and nowhere to go types. This is the situation.
Dress up and go to the hall.
Yeah. So, Jagat, we were just talking about few things, right? So, obviously, Ramesh is someone I know for a few years, like how I know you. And he's also a time member, and he's been very, very regular in all our sessions. We have been giving him as much as possible. He's good at what he does. So, I believe that we are not just doing him a favor, but this opportunity is to showcase solutions, the blockchain, how he's making an impact on the PNL of companies also, right? And Jagat, this is something that we keep talking about, and you have been also saying this, right? That founders must come together, they have to support each other, but ultimately, if you want to earn money, you have to help businesses grow, and you got to make a PNL impact. Otherwise, no one is going to listen to your gyan. Okay. So, how things with you, Jagat, and what's new and what's happening around here? You can also ask something to Ramesh.
Definitely. I think firstly we should, today is Teachers' Day. So
Yes,
those who
yes.
celebrate in school, I think all of us, as we grow, we have to, give thanks to all our teachers and mentors, gurus, call them what you want. I think all of us are what we are because of, the knowledge that's been passed down. So just take a moment to, just honor all the teachers, and, that's important, right?
True.
How things are with us. I think obviously past few months have been wonderful in the sense that in terms of Corona, it's been obviously a very, very, kind of difficult situation. But end of the day, we've been talking, I think even Ramesh has been part of the ecosystem over 10 years, me too. So what I would say is we've always used this word digital transformation. It's been there since 2010, I'm sure, so today, as somebody was telling even the other day, Corona has become the chief digital officer for every company. Whether somebody likes it or not, they need a chief digital officer. And I think Corona has done that. And things for us, yes, there's been a lot of demand for video conferencing, webinars, various solutions around video. As you know, we have been at this since 2016, one of the very early companies in video conferencing in India. And, we did it because we thought what's happening today, that is at least not with the Corona, but with the adoption of video technologies. I really believe that this is the next best thing to being there in person. And for most business and practical purposes, video, really does solve the use cases. So yes, on one side, well, there's been a lot of demand. Obviously, the competition, as we have spoken a couple of times. We say we have $3 trillion competition, or probably more, right? Every big company today is in this space, including the big blue company in India, starting from Geo, right? So, uh, but I think that's very important. It validates the market. It validates the kind of interest and the need for such solutions at scale, not only in India but globally, right? So it's been a really big learning for us, and what we have done from our end is to enable our services at a freemium model for all the startups. As you know, I'm well connected to the NASSCOM ecosystem, other startup founders, and my goal's always been to empower them, because as you said, the best people are those who help others make money. And I think as businessmen we should look at that. It's very easy to think that businessmen, we make money for ourselves, but I think really, every real businessman will tell you that the moment he stepped into entrepreneurship, he starts working for his people only. So that's the truth. If we don't make money for our employees, our stakeholders, shareholders, and customers, we are not businessmen, right? So this is my thought process. Yes, when we give into the ecosystem, I think there will be some part that comes back to us, and I think that's well deserved. So yeah, that's what I think about it.
Yeah, no, very well said, Mr. Jagat. Actually, just to share, currently I'm reading a book on creating and delivering your value proposition by Cindy Brain. So it says like, don't worry about how much you are going to earn or your sales. Just worry about how you can increase the sales of your customer, and automatically that will ensure what you deserve and you get it.
100%. 100%. And I think there's a flip side to that. And in most business, we obviously, when you look at, for example, employee versus the employer, the thought processes, typically, I'm from NIT myself. We passed out. Everybody in our batch used to think, okay, what do I get the moment I get out of college, right? What's going to be my package? What am I worth? This kind of languages kind of come. But when you're an entrepreneur, you really have to think, what can I give, and what do I have to offer to the market? And I think the market is so beautiful, and it's structured in such a wonderful way that it will reward you disproportionately if your contribution or your value to the market is really there, right? So that's really how I think. And I think Corona has done that. It's helped people really understand what's important, and how to kind of approach this whole new digital economy, I might call it.
And
Yeah, you're on mute.
yeah, sure. And so, for Ramesh and Jagat, right? So I want to understand this. Let's see, like one of the advantages that say a smaller innovation ecosystem, say Singapore or Israel or London, especially on technology, fintech, or if you go to people talk about New York or Silicon Valley or whatever it is, right? There's a lot of founder to founder conversations. Of course, NASSCOM type brings a lot of people together, but we don't really see too much of that happening in India or even in Bangalore. Let's just talk about that, right? And it should be not just for the sake of doing it, where one guy just gives and the other person just takes and nothing happens, right? But founders to founders, how can collaborations be made better so that everyone benefits and money can be made? Because ultimately, generating employment, generating revenues is become very, very, very critical, right? I mean, both of you should grow like you. There should be another 1 million entrepreneurs growing and giving 15, 20, 30 jobs minimum, and that's the only way that we as a country can prosper. So how does one go about all these things, guys? I mean, that's something that they're very close to my heart as well.
Yeah, I also agree with you, Vijita. Also, when one of the point from I want to see from how we can do that kind of a collaboration or a network, because definitely from the solution point, it's like a kind of a win-win, and also a lot of founders where they can find some synergy in their solution or in our solution, like how it can be taken actually. So that's a very interesting thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. And Jagat, I know that you're a young father now, your boy is also around. So balancing family life, personal life, so many things, right? I mean, there are a lot of challenges, but that's all fine. Ultimately, the business of life has to continue, business has to continue, growth has to happen. So what are the things that is, we keep talking about community building, we keep talking about networking, we keep talking about bringing founders and forums together, etc., right? But maybe some baby steps can be taken in this direction individually together, and we got to foster entrepreneurship, because I think that's very important. Enterprises are more than willing to give paid POCs. I mean, I can count on that fact, because all these, they really care, right? I mean, they also understand that enterprises need innovation, they need business, and they want to give this business so that you can make an impact on the P&L. So how do you think you guys want to go forward? What is the future looking like?
Okay. I just want to, take up the previous question about the ecosystem. I think I missed that. So we must understand Valley ecosystem is nearly 45 years old. It really started in the 60s, and from then, it takes time. I think such acts of giving and such acts of co-creation and collaboration take a bit of time. It takes maturity in terms of ecosystem, the founder ecosystem. In India, I would say, okay, we are about less than 10 years old as a startup economy, right? Really, maybe 2012, 13 onwards, you would say people really came in. 2010, well, just about started. So, but I see that happening. In fact, LXS, I would say, without it being our own thing or something like this, it is an initiative to bring together founders, right? And even during Independence Day, we brought together some founders, and we must understand today that the large conglomerate companies, the big FAGMAG, you call it what you want, FAGMA, and even Reliance today, every startup is under threat. There is no startup that's not under threat. And I think all of us being entrepreneurs, we know that the first question a venture capitalist asks is, why can't XYZ do what you're doing, right? And it's very important. Now, most of them, how are they approaching the business? All the companies approach as a suite of offerings, G Suite, Microsoft Office. So basically, every startup is just one product in their suite. Now, how do startups compete against this? One might say that, hey, one could question that practice. Today in US, what's happening with antitrust. But how do we solve it? The only way I feel is that when we startups get together and enterprises, you must understand why enterprises are kind of not that confident of doing business with startups. And it's very valid. They have certain responsibilities, certain, things that they expect. Sometimes startups definitely may fall short of the bar, and they would have had these experiences. So that's why probably they're not that comfortable doling out deals than you're doing a deal with Microsoft or somebody else. Now, startups can solve that. We can say that, hey, here is this consortium of products, and you can take one of them, and at the same time you get the other. There's support from this. We have to come up with some system. It becomes very tough for every startup. I'm not just saying for us in conferencing, but every single startup today, there is blockchain. I'm sure maybe Mr. Ambani is doing something on that. We don't know. So very, very important. I think that will happen with maturity. I think it's already happening, Vijeta, and must tell, thanks to guys like you and others, like you are bringing that culture into the ecosystem, right? Without any, I'm not holding back anything there. I really believe that we need enablers like you who kind of look at founders together, right? Every founder is looking at himself and then his startup and his customers and his investors. But guys that, like you, who are more ecosystem players, you're looking at, it's like taking the most, the requirements from all of them and putting it together. So I think this is happening. Hopefully it will happen faster going forward. Coming to the life work balance, I've always said, and I think many people have read this, that it's not about balance. It's really about harmony. Yeah. I think, if you are a better father, you're a better CEO, you're a better husband. I don't think one can go without the other, right? If you have a fight with your wife or somebody, you can't really perform in the office. It's not that easy. So it's good. I think Corona now, what's happened is people are spending time at home, and we're able to really make this harmony. It may not be easy, right? It's like creating a symphony, right? It takes a lot of practice to come on stage and make that symphony work.
Correct.
But I think we are practicing, all of us, and hopefully it will be better. Ramesh, would love to hear your views.
No, very good, Jagat. Thanks for that. And I think, Ramesh also has been very vocal. He has been doing a lot of demo days, showcases. We have this something called an IoT forum, and he's got all these advisors. One of them is a charter member, Surya, as well, who's used to head NSR cell activities. So Jagat, really nice. Thank you so much. I will not, but then we got to keep this momentum going, guys. That's what I always say, because whatever I can do, I will. I mean, my support and it's always there. Whatever little bit, but more people coming together, Ramesh, Jagat. I think all the NASCOM folks that and Ramesh, you have been in the startup world for so many years. Any more founders whom you feel that we can bring together, write more blogs, write more very case studies, talk about collaboration, innovation, and then what the world is watching us. There is a lot of opportunity, Jagat. I think we should also thank the fact that, of course, I don't know. The Atmanirbhar thing, there were some 7,000 applications, but only 25, 30 got through. There would be some challenges saying, yeah, I am better than them, how they got through. But look, that's okay. At least there was an opportunity, correct? The Elevate opportunity that is there from the government of Karnataka. There's this, the Bangalore Tech Summit is coming up, guys, by the way, BTS, all virtual. All virtual. And we are doing something with the Netherlands consulate also. So what we have decided and working with them is, and it could be across industries, Jagat. It could be, but the top accelerators, the top innovation hubs from different countries and cities are coming there. If you notice, I've also been sharing a lot of information about the London Tech Week. They have been very kind enough to give some passes and all that stuff. When Thai Silicon Valley did the keynote address, we gave discount coupons and we give free attendance to things. So, but it's not enough. Okay, I mean, look, whatever little bit we're doing, Jagat and Ramesh, it's not enough. And if you guys come to know of some things that you want to share with more entrepreneurs, Jagat, whatever I find from wherever, whichever accelerator is there, I'll just dump it in all the possible groups. So let's come together, let's help each other out, and let's do these knowledge sessions. I think, Jagat, you have been planning this Vidshala concept and all that. So we should do more of this. We should enroll Ramesh also one day.
100% open invite, please.
Yeah. 20 minutes, talk about blockchain, applications, how it works.
Okay.
Blockchain, they always said, was a solution waiting for a problem many times. I think you've heard that. But really wonderful to see someone in blockchain, and we need that thing, coming into transparency in various areas.
Yeah,
Sure.
and I think I think Jagat, a very important lesson here is about a pivot towards customers.
Yeah.
So he was doing what he was doing. He was focusing, say, on one sector, but through his advisors, through the discussions that they're having, is, hey man, listen, there's a big problem that even OEMs face.
Yeah.
Right, and it's also social, right? Because people are dying because of spurious spare parts, correct?
Correct.
And spurious drugs, spurious spare parts are killing people also. So you're having a social impact. You're helping enterprises definitely, but you're doing something good. And how we pivoted
that's-
and he's trying to crack this. I know that how you at Vidphone also, you're looking at the education sector. You're looking at colleges. You're looking at startup founders who need this kind of services. So, man, the way we pivot towards customer and we pivot towards profitability, make money, please make money, make lots of money for yourself and the country. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Pleasure being here, guys.
Thanks, Jagat. I appreciate your platform as well, also.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you, Jagat.
Yeah. I think, but he's looking much better than us. I don't know why. Something.
Our platform, it's like, when the builders come on the platform, we have special stuff going on. I let you continue. Wonderful.
We saw Akhil with that virtual background also. I think it's cool. So it was
a lot of interesting things coming up.
Yeah. Nice. No, innovation is good, man. Let's go for it. Thank you, Jagat. Take care. Thank you.
Yeah.
So fantastic, Ramesh. Listen, I don't want to take up more time. We have almost been at this for 1 hour, and we have so many good things happening. What matters is also, Ramesh, just put your email ID and other things on the chat as well, because it will go to a larger audience. And how can people get in touch with you, Ramesh? I think you're active on LinkedIn, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And if they've seen the presentation, and you must maybe write a simple blog about this also. Okay, not just about a technology of blockchain, but also how can communities come together, right? How can we help each other? And I mean, that's what TiE also focuses on, that, foster entrepreneurship, help them with mentoring, help them to go to market, whatever it takes to make you guys be more and more successful. All right. Any parting remarks, Ramesh? About mentors, coaches, your future, books that you read, productivity tools, what do you have to share with the world?
Yeah, so as I said, learning is a continuous process. You should keep learning, because that's a good motivator, being a founder or a startup aspiration entrepreneur, I can say. And also it keeps you calm, and patient is very important, because it's not that the sales is the main thing. It's the more focus on what the solution we are taking it and how it will benefit the others. So that's one thing, like, where I can say is keeping our patients as good. That's the one which is very important.
Extremely nice. Yeah, that's that. You have to be patient and you have to make things work. Fantastic, Ramesh. Listen, I also wish you from my heart all the very best. And thank you to everyone and the Vidphone team, to our audience, for everyone coming together. It's been an interesting conversation, but let's not stop here, okay? We got to figure out how we can contribute. You need to grow. You need to find new customers. Customers need to discover you also, Ramesh. So don't stop the hustle. Don't stop the blogging, the writing, the SEO, whatever you need to do. And you know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
my support stays with you always, my friend.
Oh, definitely. Thank you so much, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity, Vijita.
Okay, so there is the YouTube and other things will be sorted out by Akhil from the Vidphone team, and they will share it with us. And you know, any other startups, founders that you feel that we should bring on this League of Extraordinary Startups, I try to do it at least once or twice a week. You know, crisp conversations. It's all about you guys. You
Okay.
talk, you present, you tell what is your ask, what are the customers that you want, etc. And all the best. More power to you folks, man. Thank you, Ramesh.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, and of course to the Vidphone team for putting this together. So this is Vijeta from TiE Bangalore signing off. League of Extraordinary Startups. Ramesh, keep rocking. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, take care, man.
Yeah.
Cheers. Bye bye. Thank you.